Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. We have another Kickstarter All In unboxing for you today. You are very welcome. Today we are going to be battling the elements, trying to keep warm in the freezing cold, and trying to build the most wonderful civilization we possibly can as we take a look at Fantasia Games' Endless Winter Paleo-Americans. Hello again, my friends. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, and you should by now, my name is Matt, and I am here once again with another Kickstarter All In, as I said in the tease. Today we are looking at Endless Winter Paleo-Americans, this ginormous box right here. This is a big box version of the game. There is a lot of goodies in here. There is a lot of stuff off camera as well, which we will get to later. I've been waiting for this one for a little while because it combines deck building and other elements that I love in board games, but this was also available as a trial run at PAX recently, so I was able to see it set up, get a feel for it, and I just got so excited. This is a game that plays, I think it's 12 plus, and it's designed for 1 to 4 players. Solo modes are key at the moment. Plays in about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the player count, I think, more than anything else. And again, combines some worker placement, deck building, hand management, all that sort of stuff that we love here at HP Gaming. And apart from anything else, the artwork just looks sick. We went all in on this, so there is literally nothing else I think that they could potentially have given us with this one. And it is, as you can see, a big box. Looking at everything that's off camera as well, this has probably one of the biggest play boards that I've seen in a game in a while. It's going to take up a lot of space on the table presence for days. I'm super pumped for that. But without further ado, let's get into it and show you what is inside this epic box. There is so much going on just on the back of this alone. I'll show you that in a moment. Plastic on the floor. So if we look on the overhead, you have, whoop, there it is, this wonderful box here, this artwork, the tusks coming in, and then you have this sheen, this textural feel, which the camera will just not do justice. You got the raised embossed name of the game, but then here where it's all frosted over, you've got this frosting on this ice feel, which is bloody fantastic. It's so unnecessary, but it's brilliant. I love it. Then if we flip the box over for you, you can see the back of the box here. This is all the crazy stuff you get. There is a Catan tile laying element, scoreboards, player boards. You've got dual layered boards. You've got all the extra components, minis for days. Let's get into it. I cannot wait any longer. Let's just get into it. It's going to be fantastic. The official soundtrack was recently released as well. Not bad. Kind of dig it. We'll be definitely testing that out when I get this to the table. Oh, love a good box opening. Oh, wow. Okay, so, sorry, a bit excited. We have this, I'm not going to fit that all in. It's going to sit to the side. There's just so much going on. I don't know if you can see it here. I will try and get a bit of a shot of it for you. There is the artwork on the side there of the box, all the different nomadic tribes. You've got the different areas that you can potentially conquer there as well, caves and dwellings and things. And then you've got that. Look at how sick that is. Tribes for days. I love the idea of building up your nomadic tribe, but then potentially taking on the rest of the tribes that are involved. So I think as a solo experience, it's going to be great, but this game is going to shine when you get 4 players around the table and you're going head to head. I think that's going to be fantastic. Then you've got Unconscious Mind, which is coming onto Kickstarter. I think it's not on Kickstarter yet, but it will be very soon, so check that out. Then you've got the rulebook, more rulebooks, more stuff to get rid of. Solo mode rulebook. Oh, the rulebook is really nice. It's like a linen finish paper, which is really lovely. So you've got overview of the different chiefs that you can choose from, player board, main board, idle board, terrain tiles, animal boards, all this sort of stuff. There is just so much going on. How to play the game, different hexes, what it all means, the arrangements of all the different tiles, which obviously is dependent on player count. playing tribe cards, using a figure and moving them around, your player board benefits as you develop your tribe, final scoring. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Variants modules for days. So much going on here. And I think at the moment, a lot of the games that are coming out, it's sort of, I don't want to say a renaissance. That's a really dodgy term. But the fact that the games that are coming out, I know from me, my experience as a backer, have so much more in them than just, here's the mode, go for it. A lot of people would say that the peripherals are unnecessary, the extra add-ons are unnecessary, but ultimately I want a gaming experience that I can come back to. So to go all in on something and be able to have it last, even if it lasts me a year before something else new and shiny comes along, if it means that I get it out and I play it to death, then it's a good game, in my opinion. Solo mode here has all sorts of bells and whistles, rules for setup, how to play, how to arrange it so it's all facing you depending on your setups, etc. Space module integration for extra modes because there is a ton of extra stuff for this one. Final scoring, references for the different expansions that are available. I don't even know where I'm going to put all this. I'll just chuck that one up there. Then we have the packaging of the components, which is really handy for putting things together. I'm just going to leave that up on screen. If you do have a copy of this and you've thrown this out, why would you? But at least it shows you exactly sort of how everything goes together. The 5 rule books, the cave painting, column tiles, etc. all the way along. How the glacier tray works, how the player trays work, because I'm not sure if it's game trays, but they've got individual player components all stored together, which is bloody fantastic. Is this double-sided? Yes, it is. And that's an expansion tray for all the other bits and pieces as well. We'll be loading those in because we've got those expansions too. All right, let's see. We've got, again, I'm going to put that one over here. It's like an ice flow. What is underneath the ice? I dig it. All right, let's see. We have components everywhere. So there is all sorts of goodies. These look like they are extra bits and pieces. So I will pop those to the side. They look like they're scoring tiles, megaliths. Potentially, we'll come back to those. We have a little tents and things. Again, we'll come back to those. We have cubes for scoring, other bits and pieces. We have this epic trays. So good. Okay, so this, I believe, is the expansion tray to hold extra components and other bits and pieces as well. It's interesting that it's not ready to go, but I think obviously you've got to break it all down. So then we have the player trays here. So there are 4 player trays. When they are assembled, because 3 of them are not, they have the covers on them and everything else as well. So you can see here you've got the player trays. Is that the orientation? I'm not entirely sure. We just saw it before, but the component bits and pieces you can lock in there and a snap off. I don't think it's a game trays thing, but it is just as good. I dig the color, obviously being that we are in the Ice Age, that sort of stuff. And then we've got all this stuff here. So we've got, this looks like another tray of components, and I believe underneath we're going to have all the boards. So this is just a bit of card we can chuck on the floor. Player boards, map tiles, hexes. Oh my gosh, there is so much in this box, and they've got their own lining. Check this out. Check it out. Look at that. Holy shivers, that's so good. Okay, let's go through the player boards first, because I've got them in my hand. They are dual layered and double-sided, but not double-sided in the sense you can use them just artwork-wise, which is very cool. Paper for the floor. So you've got these, and they all have different chiefs on them, which is very, very great. I dig that. And they have this dual layered area for different components, cubes that you can move along. So there's no slipping, which is fantastic. Space for discard pile, draw deck, other components around the rim as well. And then here you've got this wonderful artwork on the back, which was, again, totally unnecessary, but they've done that because they want the components to look boss. You've got different animal cards you can play here, potentially resources or lair places. Here you can play. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I don't know how to play it, but I'm digging it already. It's fantastic. All right, we've got some boards, and there are a ton of them. We also went in, and as I said, we got absolutely everything we possibly could. So there are playmats for this as well. And the playmats, my friends, are huge. So we've got player boards that are folded up here. Plastic, of course, is going to go on the floor, as is tradition here at HB Gaming. And I think that's one of the most satisfying things, ripping that plastic off. So we've got the player board, which I will try to unfold for you. One of the player boards, this is a scoring track. So you see the scoring runs all the way around the outside. Different things you can place. I think it's the worker placement component. You've got some sort of ritual track for your tribe here. Now, is this double-sided for different players? No, it's just got a big logo on it, which is upside down, but that's okay. We have hexes to be punched out. Let's see, the hexes are quite heavy, quite durable. They've got a nice ice flow on the back, and they're quite thick. Just slightly smaller than Catan hexes, just for point of reference. Not that, you know, we're going to measure everything against Catan, but there's also these little victory tiles here that have points on them as well. Quite nice. Again, very durable, which is, you know, what we want. Then we've got more hex tiles here. Different lands. You have the idle board. Now this is another score tracker here that will help you earn VP towards game end. You've got a double-sided one here as well, so it's got this ice element. I don't know if that maybe is for solo, who knows. Then you've got what looks like the animal board, which is that way. So this is when you can draw animals or go hunting animals, if that's the case. I'm not entirely sure. Then you've got all these little tokens as well. Again, tokens upon tokens upon tokens upon tokens. Love it. Dig it. Bloody fantastic. Bring it on. I'm just going to pop those there so they don't get crushed. Let's put this to the side as best we can. And we'll go through this one here. So this has the rest of the components. The cards, obviously, is deck building element, along with the different tribal domiciles, the villages, etc. So we have here these little component trays. These trays, I think, are the megalith tiles. They are dual layered, and you arrange them a certain way, as you saw in the rulebook, which is very handy. You have villages. Now these little resin village things will actually sit on your player board, but look at that. Look at the colors on these things. Let's get some close-ups here. So we'll try and get one of each. How cool do these look in the different player colors? I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. They got this wonderful little thatched roof made of hay or straw or something, or bracken. They look fabulous, and they'll sit on those player boards. And as you use them, you'll actually uncover them. Uncover different bonuses and things as well on your player board as you build them out, which is fabulous. Absolutely fantastic. So you've got 3 of each of those. Then we've got little markers. They're very familiar. We've seen those in quite a few games we've unboxed. We know what they do. They're fantastic. You've got cards. We'll come back to our friends down here with the wash, because that's just awesome. Now, have I had a lot of people commenting saying that wash is unnecessary? It makes things look dirty. I don't mind it, because I do like the detail the wash brings out. Mini sculpts are great in most of the games we've unboxed recently. Looking at you Zombicide, the minis are fabulous. But having a wash just brings more detail. And I think the theming of this game, nomadic tribes out in the wilderness, having them be a bit dirty, if that's what you want to call it, actually works in their favor. Just adds a bit more character, etc. More plastic for the floor. Got this nice backing here of wilderness, which is fabulous. And then we have different cards. They're different Pathfinder cards. And these are all elements you can use for deck building. Hunter. So these could be starting cards. Again, not sure. If I get anything wrong, it will, as always, come up on the screen. But because there's so many of these, I'm assuming that's what it is. You've got a tribesman. Very important looking dude. You've got tribeswoman. A brave. Altars. Communal feast. If I go too fast, you can pause the video. Another tribesman. Again, these are all in different colors. So different tribes, different decks. Brave. The altars look different. I love that the artwork is different for each color rather than just changing the color. That's fantastic. I love that so much. You can take real ownership of your different tribe. That's fantastic. Altar of the Bear, communal feasts, tribesmen. Wow, that's fantastic. I love that so much. They could have just literally done the same cards for every character, every player, but the fact that they've gone that extra step and made it something a little bit different per each tribe. I think that's really clever. And again, just adds that much more to each player. So you'll develop your favorites. You've got Crafter. There's a couple of those there, so that could be like your standard one that you can purchase. The backs of these are all the same. Crafter, Crafter, Crafter. You've got a Shaman, so there could be pooled decks, like similar to the Cerebrus engine in the DC deck building game, etc. You've got an Elder. Lots of Elders. You've got to look after your Elders. Then you have the Pathfinder again that we saw earlier. Cool. All right. The deck building thing just had me because I love a good deck building game. But, different backs. Something a bit different here going on. These could be specific tribal cards as well. You'll have to forgive me, folks. It sounds like there's a party going on next door, which is totally fine. I wasn't necessarily going to do this today, but we had a unique opportunity present itself. So here we are going for broke. We have different card backs. So let's separate those out. This is like a solo module, maybe player aids. And then we've got another card here as well, double-sided. This one sort of just has people marking their territory, that sort of stuff. We've got here some Chief cards. Chief Tuskbreaker, Chief Chiselstone, Chief Looking Hand, Chief Thunderpaw, Chief Firewolf. And then you have the rest of the deck of cards. You have more Braves for that tribe. I might just pop those just to the back there. Hopefully they're all together. Oops. With more of the Communal Feasting card. Scouting, Spit Roasting, Tanning Hides, Torchlight, Fertility Rites, Body Painting, Grinding Stones, Attles, Funeral Pyres, we saw that inside the box, Hand Drills, Burial Mounds, Tracking Abilities, Spears, Mountain Scaling, Log Rafts, Dugouts, Burial Vaults, Bone Pigments, Trapping again, Lodges, Animal Lore, Burial Gifts, Mortar and Pestle, Arrowheads, Axes, Tusks. So you can see too the cards have different values, 1 and 2. Tributes, Foraging, Fables, Horses, Flint Mines, Trekking, Ochre Mines, Pottery, Warrior Rites, Bone Beads, Ivory Crafting, Stargazing. I like that one, that's cool. Storytelling and Ambush Hunting. So much going on. So much going on already. So these cards have different chiefs and tribes on them, and they look like they could be potentially laid out to help plan out different things. They could be a solo module maybe. What have we got here? Tribe cards, starting cards, culture cards, culture cap cards, setup cards. It doesn't say. I'm assuming there could be tribe cards, maybe. I'm not sure. I will figure that out. Could be for the solo mode. We will see. It looks like it might be for the solo mode, but that's okay. We will figure that all out. There is lots going on. We've got burial cap cards. We've got tribe chief cards. We've got cards and cards and cards and cards. That's fantastic. All right, so then we've got the different tribes, chiefs themselves. What I might do is grab our chiefs out so I know who is who in the zoo. And we'll see what we've got here. So we have, let's see, let's lay these guys out. So much plastic. Love it. Okay, so this one is, this is Chief Firewolf. Chief Firewolf is there, holding up his flaming torch, doing his thing. And he's got this crazy, crazy bow and arrow quiver. I love that. I love it. Okay. Then we have, this is Chief Tuskbreaker. Now this guy means business. Chief Tuskbreaker means business, holding his hands, very strong, very big pose. Look at those tusks. Look at that. That's so good. Oh, these guys are sick. All right, then we've got here, we have Chief Thunderpaw, who's holding up this crazy branch action. You can see here, she's got all this branch holding up on display. She's got, looks like a water skin. She's got a blade in her front front of her belt there as well. And then she's got, you know, all those beads and other stones and pelts and things that mark her body. She means absolute business. Then we've got here Chief Chiselstone. Chief Chiselstone holding up a little carved doll. Those things up there as well, the tusks. Got a spear on display as well. And she's got tusks and the saber-toothed tiger as well, which is bloody fantastic. And that brings us to Chief Looking Hard. Chief Looking Hard is here. You've got this big axe at the back here. You've got a stone being held up, and you've also got just that pelt on the back, keeping warm, obviously, the harsh survival conditions. Oh my goodness, these things look so good. I love it. I love it. Which one do we decide? I don't know. I will say too, there is an empty space here. I wonder why that might be. Who knows? We'll see. We have one more pack of cards to get through, and then I'll show you some of the other components that were in the top of the box there, and then we'll move on to one of the 6 different components we have off camera. Let's take a look. More little mini cards. Now these mini cards, I think these are the animal cards. I could be wrong. And again, you've got these little backs here. Let's see what we've got. They could be setup cards, player aid cards. Yeah, different setup cards for different locations. Different ways to set up the hexes, build your settlements, etc. The starting hand player aid cards. And player order with action phase summary on the back. They're quite tiny. I hope it's relatively simple because that is very, very tiny. You've got action phase, eclipse phase, and then final scoring as the game runs. And then you've got here these animal cards, which I think are all animal cards. We'll find out, won't we? So, Woolly Mammoth. There's 5 of these in the deck, so there's a count there. You've got an Argentavis. These guys look nasty. Glyptodon. There's 10 of those. Heaps of Glyptodons. Lots of Glyptodon hunting. A Woolly Rhino. We have a Ground Sloth. Because of course there's a sloth in this game. As opposed to an air sloth. A Stag Moose. Wow, look at those antlers. That's cool. 10 of those. And then you've got a saber-toothed cat. That could be quite tricky to hunt. I believe that it would attack you back. And then you've got some, looks like player aids potentially. Different cards to remind you of different things you can do on your turn. They're going to go right in there for now. That's all of this. So I'm just going to pop all this back in here. I'll grab that bag for those. Just for now. Because once we put them in the player trays, we won't need the bag no more. Which I love, which means I can use it for other components and other games that don't give you baggies for the components. And it does happen. All right, that's going to go up over there. We're going to move all this to the side. There we go. These cubes are just generic, straightforward cubes. I'm assuming they're score markers of some description. Chief cards are going to go back in here too. I'm going to move that to the side. And we've got some components, some deluxified bling components. Now these are the camps, and they will give you, stake your claim on the map. First of all, these guys on the floor. Don't eat that, by the way. The little houses, the little tents are these beautiful wooden components. They are screen printed, which I don't mind. That's not a bad thing. I don't like screen printing on dice. For reasons that I've explained before, so go check out our other videos if you want to know what that's about. But these little screen printed camps look fantastic. They're quite a bit of a weight to them. They're quite thick as well, which I dig. They're really nice. They've got a nice feel to them, which is fantastic. And then here, it looks like we have some bits and pieces, some extra components, all in one giant baggie. Let's get that silica gel out of here. Don't eat that. Get rid of that on the floor. We have, these are little idol markers, 2 per player, and you can use those to worship your deities, etc. You can see they're little idols that stand up, worshipping different gods or deities or whatever it is you develop as your tribe grows. You have some point markers, which are pretty straightforward. They're literally blank on one side to track your score, and on the other side they have a hunji on there. The other side is just blank. So you can track your score as you move around that dirty great big board we saw before. There's lots of different player boards to keep track of. That's kind of good, I don't mind that. We have these little fellas here, which are your tribe markers. So the different things we saw, the yellow tribe had a bear motif, woolly mammoth, etc. So there's 5 different tribes to choose from, potentially 6 depending on which way you go. So you've got like a bison, a wolf, a bear, what looks like a tiger, and then you've got the woolly mammoth tribe as well, all in those different colors. What's interesting is this is a game that says 1 to 4 on the box, and the blue tribal marker doesn't have any villages or other bits and pieces. So unless that's a solo mode, I'm not entirely sure. You've got these little tiles. These are megaliths. For the megalith tiles we saw on the board, there are 4 colors of these, and these are little arrows and markers, and they will sit on these dual player boards. So as you collect certain things, you can move along and upgrade your civilization, your growing, budding civilization, as you move your way through your Paleo-American life. 4 of those in each of the tribe colors. They're quite nice. The tiles are pretty hefty, a bit of weight to them. I don't mind having a bit of weight to the components. It makes it feel a bit more justified, I guess. So there's 4 of those, and then there's also another set as well, which looks like it could be for just an automa, or depending on what happens with the solo mode. We also have these little workers that you get to put out on the board, the tribe figurines. These are cool, and again, they're quite thick, which I didn't expect. I expected them to be normal, regular meeple width, but these are awesome. Very hefty, and they're all carrying different tools. So you've got arrows, your torches, spears, clubs, depending on your tribe. So it's actually interesting that they reflect the tribe themselves, which is bloody fantastic. I dig that. All right, that is it for the core box, the core big box, I should say, of Paleo-Americans with its storage solution for the rest of the stuff we're going to show you. We're going to clear this away, and then we'll bring on the next box. Give me one moment. All right, so now we are going to go into the Ancestors expansion, which is this little mini box here. And I believe it's got some extra modules in here as well, purely for storage. So this is add-on content that you can use to change up your game, add in extra modes and modules, etc., to just change it up, make it play it your way. Now, I think there's about 5 different modules for this one. I don't know whether it's a good idea to play with all of them, because that might just be a little bit too overwhelming, but hey, you do you. I might try it just once to see what the hell it's like. Plastic, of course, for the floor. There you go, and there it is there, Endless Winter Paleo-Americans, the Ancestors expansion. And then you have here the back, which gives you extra cards, tribe cards, culture cards, animal cards, and of course a little rule book as well. Let's pop this one to the side, just up here. Then you've got these little components. It talks about the different animal cards. Oops, too far. Component list, etc. The icon on the card indicates it's from a certain expansion. I believe there's the extra components for the extra mini components as well. So let's see. We have little baggies for storage. There you go. The Aurora Borealis module, which is a little mini module. Then you have here the Canine Familiars module, and of course the little Mammoth module, which we'll come to later. That I'm excited about. Another player board here for the Mammoth module, I believe that's for. Then you have the Yeti promo pack. More animal cards, more tribe cards. Let's take a look and see what we've got. First things first, let's have a look at the cards for tribes that you can purchase and build. So I dig it, because it means that down the track you can potentially add in extra cards and give you, it's like a game like Clank, where you start with the base game, but then you start pulling the same cards over and over again. So adding in expansion cards just gives you that much more replayability, which I really dig. So the cards here all have the same back. We have encampments, herding, monuments, spearfishing, inaugurations, shelters, bow hunting, weaponry, fish drying, funeral chambers, napper, another napper, lots of nappers, not sappers, but nappers. You've got a healer as well. That's kind of good. Always good to be able to heal your fellow man. Then you have a storyteller who can tell tales of old and encourage people to fight on against adversity based on those who have come before you, etc., which I kind of like. We have this more plastic. The plastic is building up. You have, let's see, we've got storyteller again, more of the storyteller cards we saw before. Then you have a was it Trailblazer? He looks like he means business. Trailblazer. The artwork is great. A tracker, looking for all sorts of nasty business. And then we come back to our more chief cards. Now these look like they could be, they're in that grey colour. So I wonder if that's to do with those grey megaliths we saw before. Chief Tuskbreaker, Chief Chiselstone, Chief Looking Hard, Thunderpaw, and Firewolf. And it looks like they discard cards to plant villages or move villages. And they've got different sides depending on the different play modes. So that's kind of great as well. Could be for the solo mode. We will see how we go. Let's have a look at this one here with the different animals you can track and hunt. Because it's always nice to be able to track different meat. Don't knock it till you've tried it. Get that over here. I apologise to all the vegetarians and vegans that are watching. So, you have here Mastodon, there's 5 of. A terror bird, that is quite terrifying. Then you have a longhorn bison, brilliant. You have a short-faced bear, as opposed to the long-faced bear. Why the long-faced bear? A dire wolf, now we're talking. You can also try and befriend those if you want to. You have a giant beaver that will definitely cause trouble. And you have a cave lion as well, who is looking rather nasty. Look out for those. They will. Some of them may very well try and bite your face off. Then we have the promo, the Yeti promo, and it talks about how to set that up and use that in your game. And I believe this is another potential critter that you can hunt. You've got some rules on how to set it up with the game. Advertising. The squirrel and nut promo. That's right, I forgot about that. So there's the Yeti. Who there is one of him. Looks quite nasty, quite boss. And then you have the saber-toothed squirrel, who is known by another name for another IP, but we won't go there for copyright reasons. And then there is the nut. And if you have obviously both together, it'll help you score some bonus points towards the game's end. I love that. That is very cheeky, very funny. I dig it. That's fantastic. Then we have Aurora Borealis, which is very, very cool. The Northern Lights, if you will. Little blister packs of these cards is fantastic. I love it. So this is a separate module that you can play during the courses of your games, and it talks about how to set it up. Each player places their card face down at the bottom of their draw pile with fewer than 4 players returning and use ones to the box. How it works. Not considered tribe or culture cards, but can be buried or discarded following usual rules. When in your hand, you may play the card at any time on your turn. Play it face up above your player board. And it gives you all those different effects. So there is the Lion Aurora. There is a Wolf Aurora. Bison, so it's obviously tribal based, and the Bear. And then different things that happen. Abilities of the cards based on your tribe. So obviously they're designed to potentially benefit your tribe as you play. And they have solo mode components as well. Fantastic. And then we have the Canine Familiars. We talked about dire wolves coming to work with your tribe. This could be where that happens. The room where it happens, as it were. Alright, let's see. We've got the Canine Familiars module, which has setup rules and other bits and pieces as well. And then the different Canine Familiars and a companion. Look at him. He looks so nice. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Companion. Guardian. That's very cool. A Navigator. That's very cool. A Flanker. and then more rules on how to add this in to your games as well. Lots of different components. I love it. And then of course you've got the Mammoth module. I wonder what's in this box. The little Mammoth module here is literally a little component that you can add in. I don't even know whether there's a rules sheet or anything in here. I think it's literally just, oh no, there is a little rule sheet as well. A tiny, tiny, tiny little square rule sheet which unfolds. That's actually very cool. Set up, place the Mammoth miniature near the terrain board, gameplay for the Mammoth Mini and how it all works. And when I say mini, it's actually not so much. It's got a big butt. The Mammoth looks fantastic. Obviously there's a spot for it in the core box as well. All of this stuff will fit into the core box. And that, my friends, is fantastic. So we're going to put the Mammoth just up over here. He knows what's going on. There we go. And that's going to go up here and be folded over as well. And that takes care of the Ancestors box. Now we do still have 2 other boxes, another little blister and a couple of things to get through. So I'm going to clear this away and then we'll get into that next box. All right, the next one we have for you is this one, the Cave Paintings expansion. Now this is going to have some dual layered boards. I believe it's some dry erase markers in here as well. And it's effectively going to be a way for you to draw different components, draw across things to get a bigger and better bonus as the game goes on. So the idea of having this as an extra element of gameplay means more space is required. But I really kind of dig that element of being able to make cave paintings as you play through this and build up your tribal history. It's something a bit different and just adds that extra layer of complexity to what is already a potentially wonderful game. But I don't know, I just like all the pretty things. So we're going to take this one off here, pop that one to the side, and then you've got the rule set here. So many rule books. Game setup. Set up the game as normal. Component listing. Alternative megalith board setups. Gameplay changes for dot painting and for line drawing. And then you've got here how to have final scoring based on what you've been drawing on your board. I dig it. It's great. Okay, let's see. We've got here some punch board, which is, you know, nice normal thickness. You've got different stands that go for your dry erase boards. You have what looks like a little score track here. Another symbol. This is a cave painting action column to tell you how that works. You've got a couple of little tiles here that look like they go for, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like it's some extra component. It's a rest token potentially. Yes. So it's a double-sided rest token there. And these are little stands for your board. You have a terrain tile for the main game. You have a little megalith tile. You have a sacred stone for the first era of the game. And then you have these little glacier tokens as well. And they've got this same artwork, which is fantastic. And then you have the actual things themselves. Now these have got a shine on them. I don't know if you can see that or not. Because they are dry erase, which is fabulous. And as you draw through the different patterns and symbols on the board, you'll gain points at game end. And they are double-sided. So you've got wolf, bear, woolly mammoth. Then you have more woolly mammoth, more wolf, more bear, and bison as well, and tiger. So one for each tribe. That's fantastic. Nice thickness too. Good quality board and a nice shine for the dry erase element, which I think, I don't know, it just adds something to it that you wouldn't expect. Dry erase markers are fine. They're the same things you'd find in things like railroad ink, etc. They look like they'll last, which is nice. You have the cards here. These look like they are more hunting cards. And they have, a slightly different back, which is kind of good. Okay, we have a Hegeman horse, and there's 5 of, so they get shuffled in with your animal cards as well. Then you have what looks like cave painting cards, along with some culture cards as well. I believe culture are the ones you can buy to develop your deck, things like that. So these are culture cards. You've got horsehair brushes, ground pigments, seashell paint, red clay paint, charcoal paint, and then you have a painter who you can recruit for your tribe as well, which will obviously allow you to paint your board. It says here you can draw different lines, things like that. That's very cool. I really dig that. That's such a unique way of adding so much to the game. It makes me wonder how much the developers had actually developed before they started adding in all this stuff, how much they thought all this out. I just imagine playtesting. Like, it's fabulous. It's a fantastic little module. I dig it. I dig it so much. All right, let's pop this one away. That is all there is for cave painting. It's not a huge expansion, but I think it just adds obviously more scoring opportunity, and the fact that you get that dry erase element, that's really nice. I like that very, very much. All right, let's move this one to the side here. We have one more box, another blister pack, and that's it. We're going to go into Rivers and Rafts expansion. Now, the Rivers and Rafts expansion is river tiles, landmark tiles, and an extra, I think, terrain board that you can use to build on. And you can actually build waterways that you can then sail down to find new lands, new resources, things like that, and move through those hexes a little bit faster, which is kind of good. Unless there's an ice flow, in which case you can't get through. That would probably be bad. So let's see, let's get the plastic off of this one here. We are getting there, folks. There's a lot going on here. Plastic on the floor. River and Rafts expansion, you can see there. And then you've got all these here as well. Let's take this one off. We'll pop that one to the side. I do like that artwork's very cool as well. Different components. I'll get my knife out of the way. We don't need that one anymore. We might need it once more. We'll see how we go. Different iconography and expansions as well. How it all sort of works, setting it up, adding it to the board. So you've got the hexes here, then you've got this river that runs through as well, which is cool. How you can place with the tiles. Yes, you can do this. No, you can't do this. How you gain points if you sail through the river. That is fabulous. I dig that so much. Okay. Hex tile. So this is a river tile. 3 river tiles. So these are different components. And you've got some fish tiles as well, which look fine. Fishing areas as you make your way through the rivers. You've got some that only have the one river section. That's kind of cool. You have a delta tile, which I believe could be a starting point for your boats. And then you've got these other little tokens here, which look like they're different landmarks. So there's like a tribal altar, there's a village, and they're in different tribal elements as well. You've also got, sorry, this is the delta here, that's the headwater. So that's the beginning, that's the end. They go opposite end of the board. And then you have all these crazy tokens, bits and pieces, cards, so many things, so many things. And then you've got this little, what's that, a megalith thing? Another little landmark, like a monolith token. And the monolith is literally that, all those landmarks. And then you've got this imposing black brick of shiny rock that is just going to stand on the board and just be something they wonder about. That is fabulous, and it's got a nice shine on it. That's very, very 2001 Space Odyssey, obviously. Then you have cards. Again, storage baggies, which I kind of dig. It's very important. Again, I think all of this is going to fit in the big box, and I will try to get show you how that looks when it's all set up, all the components in the trays, just to give you an understanding for those of you that have gone all in. If you're not sure where everything goes, you'll be able to see that here on the video. You're very welcome. You have a warrior that you can recruit to your tribe. Lots of warriors, because everyone's going to want the warrior to fight for them. You have these cards here, which look like they're landmark cards. So you've got this different things here, mountains, the monolith that we talked about before, trees, and a volcano. Now they different landmarks, so they've all got a different back, which is cool. The artwork is great. I'm digging it. I don't know if the camera is doing it justice, but the artwork's very, very good. Then you've got these little animal cards. If I can grab them out of here. The plastic is insurmountable at this point. There's lots going on. Animal cards, and on the back you have Stella's sea cow, which is literally that. It's a sea cow, and there's 5 of those cards for you to use in your games as well. That is not the most important bit. We also have little baggies of goodness, more silica gel, which we don't need, and then we have what looks like the actual landmarks themselves. So you've got that big black monolith, but then you also have the other landmarks represented by little, well, not little, my massive meeple token. So you have that rock formation we saw. Big, tall, chunky. These will look amazing on the table. I love that. You have that circular ice rock the ringed rock that you can see through as well, which is fantastic. You have the Tree of Life. I just call it Tree of Life because, you know, it's the only green thing for 100 miles. That's going to stand up nice on the table. And then you have the epic volcano destruction of death thing with the smoke and everything else. They could have just had the volcano piece, but the smoke makes it look fabulous. And the fact that it's so thick as well. It's going to look amazing when it's all set up on the table, along with our monolith friend. Now we know why the monolith's so big. Love this. Love this. It's so good. I don't know. Table presence obviously is a big thing for me. And I think having something set up on the table that looks great is going to get a lot of people around it. That's what happened at PAX. There was a lot of people around the PALEOAMERICANS table. Not as many as I would have liked, but that was good because it meant I got to walk in, which was fabulous. Then you've got these little river boat workers, tribe mates that will help you sail down the river to score those sweet, sweet tribal victory points and help you get the W. You've got here all the different tribe colors. So there's lots of different components that will fit on your player board as well. I dig that so much. They look fantastic. All right, we're going to clear this away. We are getting to the tail end. I'm going to try and get through another couple of components before we unveil and unfurl the last of our components. That is a bit of a giveaway. But yes, bear with us while I pack all this up. Be back very shortly. Okay, we have our Ceremonial Grounds module as well, one of the little mini packs that we've been opening throughout the course of the video here. And this is the last of the game components, other than cosmetics, which we'll talk about in a moment. This is a gameplay component, which is the Ceremonial Grounds module. And again, you've got a setup instructional thing on how it all works, gameplay, etc. And then you have Volcano Worship, Earth Worship, Storm Worship, Ancestor Worship, and Sun Worship, and then of course all the different bonuses you get from those said cards as well. Very simple, but I mean, Ancestor Worship, gain 5 points for each sacred stone you have, gain 1 point for each tool you have, and 1 point for each food you have. Lots of different ways to score VP, and it will obviously affect your gameplay strategy as you make your way through all of the different parts of the game. Which brings us, my friends, to the final couple of components. I am not going to be able to fit these in on the overhead, so you will have to bear with me. First of all, this game is huge. There are a lot of moving parts, there are a lot of components. Setup is going to look fantastic. However, where does everything go? What's the best arrangement to set it up so that you have maximum gameplay ability and expedite the turn in downtime in between turn and how to move all the different components around? Well, these guys at Fantasia have thought about that, and they've added in a couple of different options for you in the form of playmats. So while I have stopped getting heaps and heaps and heaps of playmats, because there are plenty we have here, probably too many, this game, in terms of table presence and everything else, just lend itself to these playmats because there is so much going on with the different boards. It also means you don't need to set out the boards. You can just play right off the playmats, which is kind of good too, although I kind of dig the boards. I think it's good though because you get the opportunity to then have a bigger playing surface. The boards get slightly larger when they're printed. Neoprene, looking fantastic. It's nice and stitched. This one here has the map hexes, and you can see here as you've got it laid out, I'm not going to fit it all in the shot, the different hex layout, it's beautiful, and all the different tiles you can place for river components and things as well with the other expansions they've thought about, along with player areas here. So you can have just this one set up, the idle board here, and it's all on one playmat in the center of the playing area, which is fantastic. But if that is not enough, and we know it's not, you can roll up this one, as you do, and go for something a little bit meatier. And by meatier, I mean meatier. This monstrosity right here. This is very heavy. Let's bust this open. I have no idea how I'm going to store this component. This will not fit in the box, and I don't really want to fold it up. Just off the plastic. Now, I am not going to get all of this in, but as you can see, there's a score track that runs around the outside of this crazy mat. You've got the animal board that is up here for all the animal cards. You have The idle board down the bottom here as well in all of its stunning glory. It is slightly larger. Then you have all the different card spaces. You have the different components for all the different sacred stones you can purchase, along with a massive score track. So you could set this up and the other mat up and have this incredible play space, which I think is just fantastic. It is huge. It is huge. I will set it all up for you so you can see what it looks like on the table. As we've been known to do. There is one other thing I need to go through though. So let's have a look at that quick sticks, because I just want to get it set up on the table now and shoot it. So let me pop that down here somewhere. There you go. Stay right there. Don't move. We have one last component, because I like to bling out my games. We have the deluxe resin components for Endless Winter Paleo-Americans. Now this is more of the same, the monoliths, megaliths I should say, that we saw before, but these ones are a little bit more blingy. So we've got, let's see if I can remember which is which. The megaliths, let's start with the green ones because we saw those before. These are resin sculpted pieces, not just screen. Look at that, oh my gosh. They're double-sided and you have these beautiful, they feel great, they make that great noise. There's a good weight to them as well. They're actually engraved stone components, which is fantastic. And there's those in every different colors. They replace the megaliths, the wooden tokens you saw in the base box, and they look fantastic. There is also the resin scoring markers as well, so I'll show you those. And the scoring markers were just those nice little pieces of wood components. These ones here are actually engraved little resin components as well, which look fabulous. Again, just blinging out the game, because why not? Why wouldn't when you play something that looks so good? And then these are the little these are little idol markers. What were those ones? Not the idol markers. These are the different tribal markers. I think they are the idol markers. Instead of being those little wooden components we saw, they're these ones here, and they've actually got sculpted. Oh no, one of them's damaged. Crap, that's no good. One of them's had his ear get smashed off. Oh, you can see that there, his ear's been broken off. That's a bit frustrating. But these ones obviously got the wolf head here, and they are sculpted little, beautiful little components. You have the bear. I don't know if the camera's going to do the justice on the detail here, but we'll go with that. The bear tokens as well. And then you have the lion. Lion cub head. Looks fantastic. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then we have the bison as well. Looking so boss. They're a bit more substantial than those little idol tokens we saw before, well and truly. Oh, it's a shame. That's right. I might be able to fix that one and glue that back on. We'll see how we go. That, my friends, is it. That's it. We've reached the end of it. That is everything I have for Endless Winter Paleo-Americans. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing already, and I haven't even set it up yet. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go and do that. But you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to wait. I'm going to do that right now. I will show you what this game looks like when it's set up on those incredibly epic playmats. And then I'll get a couple of shots of the game when it's all set up as well and stored in this big box here. Obviously, the playmats will not fit in this big box here. We'll see how we go. Maybe they will. I don't know. We'll have a look. But without further ado, folks, let's get this to the table, show you how it's all set up for a 4-player game. Roll that epic footage. It looks incredible. It looks amazing. And you can't tell me that you didn't enjoy that just a little bit. All the different components, the different trays. That was just the core, the base game. That didn't have any of the expansion components set up. Only because obviously you got to start somewhere. But seeing that on the table, seeing that set up, seeing the hexes, seeing the different minis, the different expression. I think the only thing that was different was that we had our friend here, the mammoth, out on display. It just looks fabulous. It just looks absolutely spectacular on the table. And that, my friends, is going to make me want to set it up again and again and demo it for all the different players that we have coming to the table to our regular board game nights. That is it. That is everything for Endless Winter Paleo Americans. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I know I probably fanboyed a little bit, but hey, whatever. That's how I roll. It would be remiss of me not to thank our Patreon subscribers and also our wonderful YouTube subscribers, you as well. If you've got this far, thank you so much for making it this far. By all means, if you haven't already, click the like button, give us a bit of a sub as well, because that keeps us doing all this crazy stuff we do, which we do for you, and also so I get to play some crazy games. More unboxings coming your way. Everdell, the complete collection, has arrived along with some deluxeified components there, so check that one out. There is more on the way. I believe Simon's next one, next crazy epic game, Masters of the Universe Battle for Eternia, is on its way here, and yes, we went all in on that bad boy as well. So by all means, check that out when that arrives. It's going to be a huge unboxing that I may have to split into 2 parts, maybe even 4 parts. We'll see how we go. Until then, folks, keep checking back here. There's plenty more to watch on the channel now, so by all means, have a look and see if there's something else you like. Otherwise, we will see you back here very soon for more epic board gaming content. Until then, get out there, play games, be kind to each other. Always be kind to each other. And we will see you back here very soon. Until then, my friends, it is bye for now.